Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing another letter with me video where I am going to be hand lettering in real time so that you can join me in hand lettering practice. So today I'm going to be using a set of worksheets just because sometimes that helps me when I'm practicing, and I just enjoy using worksheets, honestly. And these are actually handwriting. These are not script or calligraphy. This is just honestly my everyday handwriting, and I turned it into a worksheet set. And so this is going to be done using just a regular pen. For me today, I'm going to be using these acrylic paint pens. They are the extra fine tip, and I love these. These are so fun. They're kind of like a gel pen, but like even better. I don't know how to describe it, but you'll see. And I do have, I think, a review on these. If you are wanting to see more, I can link that in the description box. But for today, I'm going to be using this worksheet set, but I just printed out the practice words. My worksheet sets have practice words and letters, so obviously the bulk of the worksheet sets are the letter pages. But this one has 3 different sizes. So this is the medium, which is what I think I'm going to use. This is kind of my favorite size, I think, usually. But my only worry is that the ink flow might be a little too much with the acrylic paint pens, so I may need to use the larger size. So that's why I printed out multiple. So this is the medium, and this is the small, which I would use a very fine point pen with this one, so I don't think the acrylic pens will work very well with this one. But if the medium ends up being too small, I will switch over and use the large. So I'm going to start with the medium. We'll test it out and see how it goes. I also wanted to, while we are doing this, give you like a few handwriting tips. I know that people want to know how to have nicer handwriting. Of course, I'm always a huge fan of tracing pages, and I can link these ones in the description box below for you if you want to grab these, and I can link a discount code for you as well. But there are a few other ways that can help you to have neat and even and nice handwriting. So I will share a few of those with you in this video. I do want to say that if you don't have worksheets, that's totally fine. I will put the prompts in the comments below for you, and then I'll also put the word that we're hand lettering on the screen so that you can follow along that way as well. One of the other things that I think is really important when it comes to having neat handwriting is that you write really slowly. And I have several journals where I write pretty slowly, and I like it to look very neat, and that is my preference. I find that it's honestly just helpful for me to slow down, and it makes me more intentional with what I'm doing. That being said, I also have some journals where it is just chaos. And when you write quickly, we don't always have the time to like really slow down when we're note taking. And so sometimes they just do look terrible, and that is just a product of me writing quickly. And so I don't really see a situation where you can have this like neat, nice handwriting while also writing very quickly. Maybe some people can do it, but I think for most of us, we really do need to slow down. And so sometimes that looks like my note taking just doesn't look that pretty. I have actually a church notes notebook that I bring to church with me, and I bring it to Bible study, and that's where I take my notes for those things. And they are just pretty messy, honestly. But I can't sit there and like very slowly write when I'm trying to take notes about what someone's saying. So I just have that intentional notebook where I just know it's not going to be that pretty. And then I can transfer those notes into something else, like a commonplace journal or something like that, if I want to save some of those in a different way. But as far as like note taking when people are talking, when I'm listening to a sermon or something, I just honestly find that it helps me pay attention when I'm note taking. So I don't necessarily always need them to go back and look on them and like have them look perfectly beautiful. Sometimes just the process of writing is what's helpful for me. And so I think it's important to recognize the differences there, because you might look at somebody's pages of notes from church or school or something like that and see that they are like perfectly written. It may be the case that they rewrote their notes after church. It may be the case that they took a bunch of notes from different places on a piece of paper for school or whatever, and then they reorganized them into the notebook that you are then seeing them put on social media. I can personally say that over my many years of doing this, I haven't really seen somebody write like this when they're writing really quickly. So I just want to be totally honest about that, because I don't want you to think that we have this like perfect handwriting in our notebooks that we are like writing in real time as someone's talking. You know what I mean? Like we're listening to something and we're writing down what they're saying really quickly and it looks like this. That's usually, I think, not the case. So if you want to have really neat and even hand lettering or handwriting, I think we really have to slow down. And I will say that over time, I can write more quickly than I used to be able to. So over time, when you really get your nice handwriting style ingrained in your muscle memory, you can probably write more quickly than you were writing at the beginning. But I just don't think it's super realistic to assume that we're writing really quickly and also having super neat handwriting. To me, those are two different situations. Another thing is that you really need to find a pen that works for your pace. So there are a lot of people out there who use these super tiny gel pens, and that's actually kind of what I like to use too. But that's because I write so slowly. If I were to use a really fine pointed gel pen, and I'm writing really quickly, it feels super scratchy. Sometimes the pen skips. It doesn't feel nice. So if you're writing really quickly and you have a very fine pointed tip of your pen, you might not like that because you might not be giving the pen enough time for the ink to flow out of it. And to contrast that, the reason that some people might like those very, very fine pointed pen tips might be because they are writing so slowly that if they were to use a more, like a bigger pen tip, the ink flow is going to get way too thick. So that's happened to me before, where I have taken a pen that I typically really like and I've tried to take like slow notes in it, and the pen is just bleeding and the lines are getting really thick and like messy looking because it's not really a pen that's meant to be used as slowly as I'm using it when I'm taking notes, if that makes sense. I just think that if you're using a very fine tipped pen, you will probably want to make sure that your pacing is pretty slow. And to contrast that, if you're using something like kind of like these acrylic paint pens, if I was writing really slowly or trying to write really small with these, I would assume that this would be way too much ink for that. And I would probably have a little bit of a mess on my hands. So just because somebody else is using a pen doesn't necessarily mean you'll like it if you are writing more quickly than they are. Another thing is if you're using one of those really, really fine note-taking pens and you are really heavy-handed, you may feel like you're kind of like engraving the paper with it, and that doesn't feel very nice either. So you might want to try to lighten up a little bit. I know that's hard for those of us who are like holding on to our pens for dear life because we're pushing so hard or, you know, so tense or whatever. But you may want to try to just relax a little bit and not be so aggressive with how you hold your pen or how you are writing on the paper. Again, there are different pens where that works, but with these very, very fine pointed pens, like the ones that a lot of us use for note taking, that can feel like you're just carving out the paper, and that's not going to work very well either for you. So I will say these acrylic pens that I'm using here, it says that you can use them on glass, ceramic, porcelain, wood, rubber, metal, fabric, stone, and paper. Obviously, I'm using it on paper here. I have never tried to use them on glass or ceramic or something like that. I would really be curious to know if they would wash off. So can you use them on ceramic and then they're permanent? My hunch is that with some water they would wash off. But I am curious to know, so I might have to try that again another time. Let me know if you've tried pens like these though. I think I can't remember if I got these on TikTok Shop. I think I did. I can link these ones in the description box below for you though, but I did buy another set of them for a project that I needed to take some pens like this. And so I think I got a set that's very similar on Amazon. I don't know if it was the same brand, but they remind me a lot of each other. So I do think these are really fun pens to use. They work great on black paper, which is why I purchased the second set, because I needed something that was easy to write small, but on black paper. So really fun, but I'm just not really sure how they work on other types of surfaces, but let me know if you'd like to see something like that. I wonder, it doesn't say, I guess it says stone. These seem like they would be a really good option for people who like to decorate rocks. I know that a lot of people use different types of paint pens, but these extra fine tips would probably make it so that you could do some more details, which would be really fun. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any more questions or if you have another suggestion for a letter with me video in the future. I did have a suggestion to do names, so I'm planning on doing that one in one of my next ones. I don't know if it'll be the next one or maybe the one after that, but if you have any names that you would like to see hand lettered, leave them in the description box below. I don't have a worksheet set for those, so I'll probably just do them freehand so we can kind of make our own list. So let me know which names you would like to see hand lettered, and we can do that in another letter with me video. I would also love to hear if there's a specific style that you'd like to practice, whether it is calligraphy or using a dip pen or using brush pens, or if you'd like a more bouncy style or upright, or a more flowy style, or maybe more print handwriting like this. I also more recently made a cursive worksheet set. I don't think I've ever done an actual cursive letter with me video, although that might be hard for me to do freehand and follow all of the rules, because I'm not used to following all the cursive rules since I do a little bit more modern version of calligraphy. So I could try, but I might need a little bit of grace if I mess up the cursive rules. That is why I made the worksheets, so that I could follow along and make sure I get them right. So yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions or if you have any themes that you'd like to see in the future. Otherwise, I hope this is helpful, and I hope this allowed you to slow down and take some intentional time to practice and relax and just enjoy the process. Thank you so much for watching. I have some more videos coming out later this week, and then I will do another letter with me video next Monday. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next one.